All right, Yankees fans, buckle up because what we're witnessing right now is a roller coaster nobody wanted to get on. The Bronx Bombers are in the middle of an offensive free fall, the kind that sends chills through any fan's spine. 3 games in a row without scoring a single run. Yeah, you heard that right. 3 consecutive shutouts. The latest came against the Los Angeles Angels, a 4-0 loss that ties a historic low for this franchise, and not the kind you'd ever want your team to be remembered for. 29 scoreless innings have stretched across almost 3 full games, the worst drought the Yankees have faced since way back in September of 2016. Just imagine that for a second, almost an entire game and a half, and not one run to celebrate. Not one moment to cheer from the bats. That's the kind of nightmare scenario that has even the most optimistic fans biting their nails. But this isn't just about a bad run or a tough opponent's pitching. No. This feels like something deeper, a freeze, a stall in the very core of what makes the Yankees' offense tick. The urgency, the fire, the hunger to push runs across the plate. It's all but disappeared. Let's talk about the pitching effort first because, believe me, it's not like the arms are letting the team down. Rookie right-hander Will Warren took the mound and gave everything he had. This guy was a revelation on the mound, throwing a career-high 11 strikeouts in 6 innings. His fastball was electric, his control razor-sharp, slicing through hitters including the formidable Mike Trout, who was left swinging at thin air more than once. The kind of performance that scouts drool over, the kind that usually sparks a team to rally behind their pitcher, but even with that, Warren couldn't get a single run from his teammates to back him up. It's brutal. Warren gave up 3 earned runs on 6 hits, but some of those runs could have been prevented, possibly down to defensive missteps. It's the kind of luck no pitcher wants to have when trying to hold a team in check, and following him, Ian Hamilton came in the 8th inning and allowed a run on a ground out, scoring a runner who had reached base on a bloop single. But honestly, even that felt like a footnote compared to the real issue, the offense staying completely silent. The bats simply refused to wake up. Let's dive into the lineup because there's a lot to unpack here. Cody Bellinger got a double in the 1st inning, an encouraging start for sure. Jason Dominguez managed to get on base and even stole a bag, showing some speed and hustle. And Giancarlo Stanton, he stepped up with a respectable 2-4 for night, mirroring his previous game's decent performance. But beyond that trio, the lineup was lifeless, cold, and unrecognizable. It's like watching a team that has forgotten how to hit, forgotten how to grind out at-bats. The complete lack of contribution from 8 or 9 players every night is what's dragging this offense into uncharted territory of despair. And here's a kicker that really hurts. Even Aaron Judge, who is still an elite talent with a weighted runs created plus of over 130, has seen his numbers dip 15 points in just 5 days. That kind of sudden drop is rare and alarming. It's not just about losing games anymore. It's about losing the will to compete. Fans would rather see a tight 7-5 loss where the team fights tooth and nail than watch this slow-motion collapse where the entire offense looks lost, frozen in place. This isn't bad luck. This isn't just the opposition pitching well. This is a systemic shutdown. A drought so deep it's rewriting the worst offensive stretches in Yankees history. Tomorrow's game brings Ryan Yaro to the mound, and while pitching can often be the difference maker in tight contests, this time it might not matter. Even if you put a prime Pedro Martinez on the bump, if the Yankees can't find their swing, it won't change the scoreboard. The problem is not the mound, it's the men in the batter's box. And as this series finale looms, all eyes will be on the lineup. Will manager Aaron Boone's recent shakeups finally spark something? Can the Bombers rediscover their bite and pull out of this nosedive before it becomes a full-on tailspin? Only time will tell. But make no mistake, this offense is at a crossroads, and what happens next could define their season. The frustration runs deep because the Yankees aren't just failing to score, they're failing to inspire. The offense is missing the hustle, the smart situational hitting, the clutch moments that make baseball special. It's like a switch has been flipped off, and the players are stuck trying to find it again. The pressure is piling on, and with each passing game without runs, the weight grows heavier. What makes this drought even more baffling is the contrast it paints against earlier parts of the season. The Yankees entered this stretch with one of the best run differentials in Major League Baseball, plus 102. Meaning they were outscoring opponents by a wide margin overall. When they won, they dominated, but lately, the close games and tight losses have exposed a glaring flaw in clutch performance. Take a recent example, a bases-loaded situation, with one out in extra innings, and the Yankees couldn't push a single run across. Moments like that highlight a mental block creeping in alongside the offensive woes. The lack of production from the lineup feels like an identity crisis for a team so used to swagger and power. It's no longer about isolated slumps or cold spells. It's about a fundamental breakdown. It's about 8 or 9 players disappearing night after night. Their bats silent when the pressure is highest. This isn't just a tough patch, it's a crossroads that demands answers. How will this lineup respond to the heat? Will Boone's adjustments shake things loose? Can the young core step up and help this team rediscover its offensive identity? The stakes couldn't be higher. The division lead that once looked comfortable has shrunk. The Angels, far from elite, have capitalized on the Yankees' struggles, narrowing the wild card gap and taking advantage of every misstep. The Rays are lurking too, ready to pounce if the Bombers don't find their footing fast. The window for turning things around is closing, and every at-bat, every pitch, every decision matters more than ever. This offensive meltdown is testing the mettle of a team built to thrive under pressure. The fans, the media, and even the players themselves are searching for signs of life amid the silence. The roar of the Bronx faithful has grown quieter, replaced by anxious murmurs and mounting concerns. But if there's one thing history teaches us, it's that the Yankees have always found a way to rise from the ashes. This slump, as deep and painful as it is, might just be the catalyst for a comeback story yet to be written. For now, though, the reality remains stark. The bats are cold, the runs aren't coming, and the clock is ticking. It's a moment that demands resilience, adjustments, and maybe a little bit of Yankees magic to break the spell. The next games will tell the tale, whether this slump becomes a mere chapter or the story of a season unraveling. But one thing is certain, the Bronx is waiting, watching, and hoping for the return of the fire that made this team a powerhouse. While the offense continues to struggle, there's a bright spot emerging quietly in the shadows. The Yankees bullpen, and more specifically, Luke Weaver. In the midst of all this frustration and offensive drought, Weaver's recovery is a spark of optimism that the team desperately needs. After suffering a hamstring strain back in early June, Weaver has been sidelined, and his absence has been felt deeply, but just recently, he took a huge step forward by throwing live batting practice. A milestone that means he's not just healing, but getting closer to returning to game action. This is the kind of news that can lift spirits, not only in the clubhouse but among the fan base that's been starved for good headlines. Watching Weaver throw that bullpen session, you could see the intensity and focus that has defined his approach. All season long, he wasn't just going through the motions. Every pitch had sharp movement. Velocity was solid, and control was precise. It was clear he was locked in, both physically and mentally. His comment about the importance of sensing adrenaline and body readiness struck a chord. It's something elite pitchers know well, and it showed in every pitch he threw. He wasn't rushing, wasn't pushing the hard, but instead was building the foundation for a strong comeback, focusing on the details that make all the difference. His cutter, changeup, and fastball all looked ready to be weapons again in the bullpen arsenal. What's even more encouraging is that Weaver's recovery is ahead of schedule. Initially, the expectation was a return window between 4 and 6 weeks, but he's reported no lingering tightness or soreness, and no setbacks so far. That's huge because relievers rely on rhythm and physical health to perform at their best. And the last thing the Yankees need is to rush him back only to have him falter or get injured again. Manager Aaron Boone has been optimistic too, calling Weaver's recent session excellent and hinting that a decision about activating him could come very soon. It's the kind of timing that could not be better, considering how thin and overworked the bullpen has become during this offensive drought. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. A whisper of discontent is echoing through the Bronx this week, as speculation mounts over a reported altercation between two of the Yankees' young standouts, Anthony VOLPE and Ben Rice, while the organization has yet to release any official statement. Multiple sources close to the clubhouse have suggested that a heated confrontation may have led to both players being temporarily removed from the active roster. Details remain murky, and no eyewitnesses have spoken on record. But insiders claim the incident stemmed from a disagreement during a recent practice session. What started as a verbal exchange may have escalated into a more physical dispute, prompting immediate intervention from team staff. The Yankees, known for keeping a tight lid on internal affairs, have offered no public comments, fueling speculation about the nature and severity of the encounter. VOLPE, a fan favorite and a key piece of the Yankees' infield, has been praised all season for his leadership and maturity. Ben Rice, one of the team's most promising young bats, has recently earned more playing time and attention from the media. Some believe the competitive atmosphere, combined with the pressure of performing in New York, may have created tension between the two rising stars. There is no confirmation yet on the length of their absence or whether disciplinary action is being considered. However, both players were conspicuously missing from the lineup and team activities this week, which has only intensified chatter among fans and media alike. Whether this is merely a minor dust-up between competitive teammates or a sign of deeper issues within the Yankees locker room remains to be seen. As of now, the team remains silent, but all eyes will be on Aaron Boone's next press conference. For now, it's just a rumor, but in the Bronx, even whispers can shake the stadium. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.